Hello, it is me, Mozart Minecraft, and today I'm going to show you how to win the Hypixel party game, Anvil Spleef. Anvil Spleef is a functionally time-limited, non-interactive game in which the objective is to be the last player standing on a 41 by 41 platform, which slowly gets destroyed as anvils rain on top of it. Before we get into the strategies, let's start with the basics. When the game begins, anvils will fall from the sky and onto the platform, destroying the blocks they land on. If an anvil lands on top of you or you fall into the void, you are out. In order to win, you must be the last player standing. Now here are some strategies to avoid falling into the void. Anvils will fall randomly, but every 2 seconds, or 4 anvil waves, there's a chance that an anvil will be positioned to land directly on top of the block you're standing on. The anvils will prioritize landing on players that have been standing still for longer periods of time. In this tutorial, I'm going to teach you 3 methods for winning this game, the first of which I call the dodge method. Make sure you are aware of all the blocks around you so that if an anvil falls on top of you, you'll be able to dodge it and land safely rather than jumping onto a block that doesn't exist. If you come to a point where an anvil is coming on top of you and there is no safe place to land, then jump in the void right before the anvil hits you. You will survive just a little bit longer than if you would have stayed on the block and allowed the anvil to hit you. And now I will show you the second method, the 4x4 method. This method is very similar to the dodge method. The main difference is that you'll be moving every 4 anvil waves, regardless of whether or not an anvil is falling on top of you. In the 4x4 method, you will stand still until an anvil falls on top of you, and then you will capture that moment, count 4 more anvil waves, and move to another block, repeating until the game is over. So, what are the pros and cons of this method when compared to the dodge method? While you'll have to move around a lot more for the 4x4 method, you would avoid reaction time delays associated with the dodge method, therefore you'll have more time to move to the next block. Additionally, as mentioned before, anvils will prioritize landing on players that have been standing still for the longer periods of time. If you end up in a tricky spot where it takes you longer than 4 anvil waves to find a safe spot, you'll be more likely to have another 4 or possibly 8 anvil waves of leeway. However, there is no guarantee. Before we get into the final method, I'd like to say 2 more things. When playing this game, looking up at the anvil rain is important. Do not try and run around the map without looking at the anvils. This is very chancy, as an anvil could land on top of you or the block you're about to jump on, and you won't be able to see it coming. When playing this game, it is best not to worry about other players, as there is no good way to hinder their progress. Therefore, you should focus on making sure that you survive, as focusing on other players may distract you and make you more likely to mess up. And if the anvils are just too difficult to dodge, or you struggle too much to remember which blocks are safe, there is a trick to make anvils less likely to land on top of you. And I call this trick the edge method. By standing on the edge of a block, like this, you will actually be above a block where an anvil has already fallen. Anvils will not fall on the same block twice, therefore when standing like this, you are actually safe from the game dropping anvils directly above you. However, you still need to make sure you know which areas are safe, because an anvil can still fall on the block that you're hanging off of. Note that if you are doing this method, if you choose to stand on the very edge of the platform, you may be standing over an area where an anvil has not fallen yet. Therefore, an anvil can still be dropped directly above you, even though there is no block for the anvil to land on. After the anvil falls, however, that block will then be safe. One thing I should warn you about the edge method is that I am unsure of its legitimacy. It's most likely a glitch, meaning that by the time you're watching this video, it may get patched. Plus, there is a chance that it could be against Hypixel's rules. For this reason, it's probably best to use either the dodge method or the 4x4 method. Whichever one you use is up to you. And that is how you beat Anvil Spleef in Hypixel Party Game.